Well, we live. Yay. Woo. Okay. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Bold Carnivore. Good evening, wherever you are. And we are happy to sit down today with Joshua Pearson. Howdy, Joshua.
Hello, Matthew. It's good to talk to you, man. It's an
Yeah,
honor
it's
and a
great to see
privilege to
you.
be here.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that people are enjoying it. You said offline that you're enjoying my stuff. That makes me feel really great. I'm glad people are. That's amazing. But more amazing is the story you've got for us. Isn't that right, Joshua?
I look forward to being able to tell a little bit about my journey. Yeah, I'm excited, man. This is a real treat to
Awesome.
get to do this.
So, if anybody caught the thumbnail, Joshua here was, I believe it was 311 pounds in the picture, yeah, and has cut more than a person's worth of weight. That is amazing.
Yeah, it's a blessing, man. I'm just so grateful because if you had told me like almost a year ago now that I would be looking the way that I'm looking now, feeling the way that I'm feeling now, doing the stuff that I'm able to do now, I probably wouldn't have believed it. So I'm excited.
Well, about that journey, tell us a little about it. How is it you found yourself up that high in the weight department as it is?
Right, right. Well, I guess it all starts like back whenever I was a kid. I was a big kid, and my mom said like even whenever I was a baby, I ate like a barracuda, like and I just like I ate and she said that I was like 20 pounds when I was 2 months old, like I ate, but like and I mean I just and I was born like 8 pounds, as a big baby, but I mean further on from there, eating was such a big part of my family's culture. Like we ate so many high carbohydrate meals, and we were trying. My mom and dad. I don't want to blame them. They were trying to, have the balanced meals, do the things that you know parents were taught to do, told to do. Um, but we, nevertheless, were eating, soup, beans, and cornbread. Grew up kind of low income in Kentucky, and eating, chicken and dumplings and gravy and biscuit and
Mm.
all of those kind of things.
Mm.
And like naturally, I was a bigger kid, and I mean I got decently big throughout elementary school. And I mean I didn't really think of myself as big, but I was. And it was kind of I had to wear the or as like really big or anything. I mean I had to go to the husky section, wear the husky pants, all that good stuff. Um, and I mean, uh, some of the things that we did for fun, like my dad would take us to the library, and then after we'd get a Polar Pop, that big old like soft drink from the gas station, and you get the biggest one because they costed the same, and you're gonna get your money's worth, and so we get the big old soft drink and drink the whole thing, and you know whenever I'd eat, like I'd eat a couple of plates full of food at least most of the time. You don't not go back for seconds, And am I growing up like throughout all these years? Like I'd go, to my granny Barb's house, and she was a wonderful cook. Like it still is. Well, like she doesn't do as much cooking now. She's uh, well since my papa passed away, but she is just a wonderful lady, and she can really throw down with some home cooking. Um, and I mean, it can make some really good tater soup and all that kind of stuff. And whenever we went
Mm.
there, Lord have mercy, I'd eat, and my papa, he loved to see people eat. So that's what he say. He's like, I love to see people eat. So they they give me all this food starting from a young age, and then if everybody else wasn't clearing off the plate, they knew I could eat, so they give it to me. And and I was kind of proud of how much I could eat, like I was kind of feeling like I was one of those professional eaters over there, putting it away. And I mean just kind of excited about it. And of course that catches up with you now. like that's just like throughout like elementary school, but then like middle school, I started thinking a little bit more about God. I mean, I had been thinking about God more in like late elementary school, and then even during elementary school, because growing up in a church environment. But I started to kind of focus in a little bit more, and I started listening to some sermons about prayer and fasting. And whenever I heard all this, I started fasting. And I wound up, whenever I was fasting, it was basically like, what some people would call OMED, or like one meal a day, because that's, I heard people calling that a Jewish fast. And so I was like, well, I'll try that. We'll do that.
Mhm.
And so I, did that, and it wasn't for weight loss purposes. It was for spiritual purposes. I was fasting because I wanted revival, and I did that for a while, and I wound up losing a bunch of weight, and people were like cautioning me, warning me, telling me to stop because they were worried about me. I got to where I was a beanpole in middle school, and it might have been a lot for somebody in middle school to be doing, but now I know, looking back, the fasting is a lot healthier than what I was doing otherwise. Not
Mhm.
eating is better than putting poison in your body. like, but
True.
I didn't realize quite what I was, uh, doing at the time. But through the process of time, like inside, uh, like all of this, kind of being told, slow down on the fasting. I slowed down on the fasting. I mean, I'd still fast, like, but I wouldn't do it nearly as much as what I had been doing. I'd been doing up to like 3 days, like of OMAD out of a week. And I mean, that was a big change for somebody who was eating and putting away. And so I was losing a bunch of weight that way. But I, uh, I wound up, like, of course, through my high school years, I stayed basically pretty skinny. Um, but I mean, I then, I went to Bible college. I had a wonderful opportunity to get to go to Bible college. Some wonderful people from the Kentucky district of the United Pentecostal Church. They decided that they would pay my way to Bible college. It was just a miracle. Well, for that first semester, they paid my way for me to get to go, and I wound up getting to go for a couple of years. I didn't get to stay long enough to graduate, but like it got me a good amount of training, and now I'm doing youth ministry now. But naturally, you go to college, you get put on the freshman 15. It happens. And then after you do the freshman 15, it's the sophomore 25. Like you're eating out late at night. You're going and uh, getting all sorts of fast food, and like I had a friend like to go out to eat a lot while we were there, and then also our cafeteria, uh, like they had Chicken Finger Friday, and they had an ice cream machine on Chicken Finger Friday, and you get the ice cream and the chicken fingers and the French fries and all that stuff. Man, like it was good, but it was gluttony. Like it was good tasted, but it wasn't good for you. But and I mean, I uh, I did that, and then eventually, run out of money, have to wind up just coming to the realization I'm not going to be able to finish Bible college. Uh, but after a year of being back home, my pastor asked me to be the youth pastor, and so I started serving in that role. And of course, with youth ministry, you do a lot with snacks and giving out uh, like things like cookies, donuts, pizza, pop, like soft drinks, things like that. So we're um, doing all of that kind of stuff. And of course, I take leftovers home. I'm eating those like that. That's me putting on more weight, doing that thing. Now, back in 2018,
Mhm. Okay, I'm not sure if it's on my side or if it's everybody, but we're getting no sound. I don't know if I've just lost connection or if it's the stream or if you've lost sound. Can you check your connection for me real quick? Oh yeah, Mama Cracker says it's on your side. Check your connection there. Okay, Joshua, maybe you can try reconnecting real quick if you can still hear me. Okay, guys, I think we lost connection with Joshua for just a moment, but I'm sure that he's going to reset his connection and we'll have him back to hear some more of his story. Yeah. Wow, this has been an interesting tale so far. Uh, Lost the weight and then he has gained it back over time. Seems when he was in ministry and also in college. Okay, I think he's trying to reconnect. All right, how's that? Oh, not quite. Okay, let's try it again. Okay, no, you still froze. Joshua, try closing the stream and try to reconnect. Yeah, that may help. Yeah, there's still no audio. Oh, there's a bit of audio.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We've got you now.
Is it better?
It is better.
Is it better?
It is.
All right. So all right, we're back. Can the audience hear me?
It does seem so. Mama Cracker, audio check.
Good deal. Good. Okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. Sorry about that, guys. But where was I? Okay, so I think I was talking about youth ministry and
Yep.
like how the like after putting on weight here in Bible college, continued to have some unhealthy eating habits, with taking home snacks with youth ministry. I also had a friend that I had met in Bible college that knew that I loved Oreos, would send me Oreos, like just all these different flavors. Like, I mean, I had apple pie flavored Oreos. I had all of this stuff. Now, my family knew I loved Oreos so much that they gave me a cup, like one of those cups that has the little thing on the side that you could stick the Oreos in, and then it has tongs, and you can use the tongs to dip your Oreo all the way down inside the milk. I mean, that was the thing for
Professional.
somebody who was hardcore, like about the Oreos. But and eventually I had to stop that. I knew that wasn't good to be doing to myself, but I slowed down on that. But I think I got to where I before my audio cut out, I had talked about how that back in 2018 I started to try to calorie restrict there for a while. I had done some calorie restricting, and I had cut down my carbs some because I was trying to just do my own thing, and I probably wasn't eating enough whenever I was doing that, but I wound up losing 47 pounds, but then I gained it all back and then more and then more. And uh, I, uh, I forgot to mention, whenever I came back home from Bible college, uh, I had started working at McDonald's, intended for it to be a summer job, and never wound up getting to go back to Bible college. So I just stayed at McDonald's. And so I've just stayed at McDonald's for like years and years, and I've progressively made more money, and like they've been good to me. And I was an essential worker during all of the crazy stuff that happened a few years ago. So like they were good to me. So I've just stayed for a really really long time. And whenever I like lost that weight the first time, I had lost it at McDonald's, but of course, you go back to your wicked ways, and then you gain it all back, and then some. But like, I had a friend who is one of my managers, um, that uh, like I want to talk about here in a moment. Like, and kind of how that he influenced me, and going and eating more than I probably should have. But like, and not to talk about him, but because like, we were great friends. But I, of course, in that environment inside McDonald's, I was eating, like a gravy biscuit for like
Mhm.
for my lunch. If I ate it at breakfast time, I was eating, a Big Mac, and and it wasn't just enough to have a Big Mac. I was getting to where I eventually I'd put barbecue sauce on my Big Mac, and of course that's sugar on top of carbs on top of all of that, like and it's it's just a mess, and I was a Dr. Pepperaholic. I had developed
Wow.
a Dr. Pepper like thing. I just absolutely loved my Dr. Pepper. It was Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew, every kind of Mountain Dew, and then Coca-Cola. That was my tier list. And I mean, I was hardcore. It couldn't be, some sort of off-brand Dr. Pepper. Like, I'm not a Mr. Pibb guy. It was Dr. Pepper. And I I mean, I wouldn't drink no diet Dr. Pepper. Like, there's one time I got a diet Dr. Pepper from a gas station. Made me so sad. Like, because I thought I grabbed a real one, and then I, I mean, you taste it, and it's like just aspartame is the only thing you could taste. It's like this is this is just a lie, and so that's the way that I was. I'm hardcore, and I drink Dr. Pepper multiple times a day, every single day, pretty much. And that's not going to be good for you. I was drinking it at McDonald's multiple times a day, drinking it like it was water. I didn't drink a whole lot of water. I wasn't thinking about water like most of the time.
Mm,
And I mean, I drink some water. I wasn't. That wasn't my main go-to. It's like Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, Dr. Pepper, and
mhm,
uh, that's something that I just really, you know, it was my thing. And then, of course, you're working in fast food, stressful environment, people, yelling and screaming and all of the chaos that happens inside of a fast food environment sometimes. And I know not every fast food environment is the same, but that's certainly something that uh, was experienced whenever I was in that or while I've been in that setting. Um, and so you have a lot of stress. So stress eating gets to be a thing where you're like, hey, you got any leftover McChickens over there? Like I'm going to take it with me on my 10, and you're eating whenever you don't need to eat. And then you get off work, and before I'd go home, even if I didn't need gas, I'd go to a gas station or I'd go to the dollar store and I'd get a snack. Or there were days um, that I would go and I'd get a meal at Wendy's, and then I'd go home and I'd eat whatever we were having at home. And
wow.
I'd eat both. Uh, and I mean, and that's the thing is like I loved food, but food was
Yeah.
it was growing on me like
Mm,
in a serious way, and just not to be nonchalant, but I mean I was dealing with food addiction and carbohydrate addiction and all of those things, but I didn't have no language for that. I didn't know exactly what was happening. I knew that something like eventually, I had some warning signs along the way that probably should have warned me. Um,
mm,
and those things, like I I uh, I had my favorite recliner that I would sit in. Like whenever it was after work or it like and after supper and all of those things at night, and I'd sit in my recliner, and I'd like to get a bowl of ice cream, and it wouldn't be a little bowl of ice cream, it'd be like 4 or 5 scoops of ice cream, and I fill that thing up, and then you might have some candy left over from that snack you bought earlier, because you bought extra because you knew you might have a hankering to have some more, and put it in the ice cream and put it on top of the ice cream. And then like it'd be like Reese's cups and like on top of there. And you know, typically if whenever I got a snack, it'd be like Reese's cups or Snickers bars or or one of those Snickers ice cream bars or something like that, it was it was a lot of sugar, um, because that sugar addiction is real, um, and I mean I absolutely was dealing with that, and I know that some things can trigger that if I like have a cheat day, and I have done some cheat days throughout this time, on special occasions. I don't want to
Mhm.
mislead people and think it make them think I've been stricter than what I have been, but like and I mean early on is definitely including a lot more seasonings, and I even recently have reincorporated some more seasonings and stuff back in, kind of experimenting, kind of seeing with what I can get by with. Um, but I am definitely somebody who I think that this this way of eating really works. But let me kind of back up, get back to where I was. I fill up that bowl of ice cream. I'd sit down in my recliner, and then I'd fall asleep in the recliner. I'd stay there for a while, and like I mean, I might have that bowl just sitting in my lap. I'd be asleep, and then I'd wake up, and then I'd need to put my bowl up, go to bed, wake up in the morning, do it again, um, and that was my routine a lot of the time. Um, and if you do that regularly, it's gonna put the weight on you. And I was doing all of that, and but also trying to do the youth ministry stuff, all the snacks, all of that. And then I had a friend, the manager that I mentioned before, that he started wanting to do Bible studies, and I was like, man, this is great. We need to do Bible studies. But before we did Bible study, we would go to this place called Kodo's, and this Kodo's is a Japanese hibachi place, absolutely
Mhm.
phenomenal in terms of their service and their experience. And you got fire, you got like food flying through the air, you got all this stuff. And like, what else could a food lover want than a giant pile of rice and filet mignon and noodles and like at at that time, I mean, you had an onion volcano, you like with fire and like these wonderful like hibachi chefs. So it was very engaging. You really wanted to be there. You were like, let's go. And I mean, we were spending all this money that we really probably couldn't afford going to like basically every week. I mean, there were some times that we couldn't afford it, so we couldn't go, but we would go almost every week, and we would do a Bible study, and I would get how like almost as much food as what I saw him get. And he's my friend, and I'm not trying to talk bad about him, but he's a guy who likes to eat as well, and I was looking at kind of what he ate, and then I would go and I would eat, uh, just a little bit less, like because I was basing what was normal off of what he was doing, and so
Mhm.
I had like all sorts of food. I'd eat a bunch whenever I was there. I'd take some home. After Bible study, I'd eat a little bit more whenever I got home, and then I'd eat some the next day. Like, I mean, I had enough for 3 meals, and then I'd still wind up occasionally being a little generous and giving a few little nibbles to the dog. But I mean, you don't give Kodos to the dog very much. Like you're going to eat as much as you can, and I mean, I really enjoyed that, and eventually, by the grace of God, uh, this guy, he decides to get baptized, and that was an amazing thing. He had powerful experience with God, and that was really great. And so through the process of time, we eventually wrap up having Bible studies. We had a great time with all of that, but I continued with my unhealthy habits with the ice cream and all of those different things. I had mentioned that recliner and me falling asleep in the recliner, and all. I eventually I got so fat I broke that recliner,
Dang.
and I got so fat that I broke my bed frame, and
How?
that stuff wasn't enough to stop me though, because I was in. I love food, like, um, and that wasn't enough to make me want to change yet. Like, I mean, those were warning signs, kind of alarm bells, but you know, healthy people are boring. That's what I thought. Like they go on diets and they eat vegetables and it's like and they can't eat ice cream. I'm like, what's the matter with you people? Like that's what I was thinking. Back then, and of course that my mindset has shifted a lot. But like eventually, I uh, got to where uh, I wanted some, like I was kind of desperate, and I saw that my pastor he had went on a diet. It wasn't the carnivore diet, but he had went on this other kind of diet. It was some diet with a weird name, and he got really involved with this diet. So he goes and is getting trained by this kind of health coach lady to be an ambassador for this diet. And he's like, hey, can you help me out? I need you to hop on a phone call and listen to this lady's spiel, listen to me give a spiel about it, and kind of just help me out. But I knew this conversation was getting ready to happen. And I knew that the way that I grew up, if your pastor tells you to do something, like pretty much you're going to typically do it, and most of the time just out of respect.
Mhm.
But this was something where I was like,
Okay, your connection's frozen up again like last
I have to
time.
do the diet that he's doing.
Roll it back about 10 seconds in your
Um,
mind and restart because there's
like it,
disconnection.
sorry, I don't know what.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll get it. Mike Shaw asks, dang, Josh, how much did you lose? Hard to believe you broke a recliner. It is hard because recliners, they're built to kind of withstand that, Womping down into it over and over again, popping that footrest up. You expect it to last, right? But apparently you can overload them things, man. We wore ours out over time, but then we were pretty hefty when I was younger too. So we might have him back. Oh yeah, wow, right? I didn't catch that. Oh hey, he's back. Nope, still no audio, brother. Okay, let's try it again. Nope, still nothing. Maybe reconnect the mic. Check your audio sources in the settings. Okay, yeah. Wow, what a day. I was late. Technical issues on this side. He's got technical issues on that side. We got so much going on over here. So we are talking today with Joshua Pearson from, I believe it is Kentucky, and he lost an astounding amount of weight over some time, and he has apparently been a yo-yo dieter throughout his earlier life, and uh, not to the extent that you would usually think, because he actually went on diets for his not for his health, but for spiritual reasons. What he had done was fasting. Okay, we got him back just in the background. Let me add him to stage and see how it's going. All right, there we go.
Can you hear me, brother?
Yes, sir.
Am I good?
Yeah, yeah. Let's check the audience. Audience, have we got an audio check
I can't
for
hear
our
you, but
friend?
I don't know if they can hear me.
You
If
can't
they
hear
can hear
me?
me, I'll keep going. You can't hear me?
I hear you.
Let's see. Wait, am I? I'm good.
Okay. This is still not a great connection. Okay. They're saying they hear you. I don't know if you hear me or not, but oh dear, it's frozen again.
Kind of.
It's up and it's down. It's yes and it's no. It's in and it's out. All right. Wow. Okay. We're holding the space. I don't know if you guys can hear what's going on or no. Joshua Pearson, guys. So happy to have him on. Things are just not going so well. How much did Max Headroom lose? You know, he lost. He lost quite a bit. He was at 311, and now he's down quite a bit. It's on the thumbnail. I don't have it right in front of me because I don't actually check the stream while I'm doing the stream, so it's not in view of my eyes just at the moment. But he's lost about in the neighborhood of more than 100 pounds over 10 months. And that's an excellent question, Mike. Thank you very much. I'm going to post it too because that's funny. Now, for those of you who don't know, Max Headroom was a 1980s character that was on television. I would expect Mike to know that. You know, Mama, you got a good point there. He might try rebooting. He's stuck in the metaverse. Mike, might be nice, Mike. Actually, I lost the stream to Facebook, so I'm not sure how that works. No, it says it's still connected. I just can't comment. It says I'm live. Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm going to try and talk with him over Instagram real quick, and we'll see if we can get him to reboot. I don't know that that's not just frozen. Maybe he is trying to reboot, and it's just stuck on my end too. For a moment there, I thought it was my connection. Sometimes it's not great on this side if I'm in the room for what I'm not in this one usually, so I usually have the wired connection when we're doing this, but I don't today. All right, wait, let's see what we got. I've got a message. Nope. All right, I'm gonna tell you. Try you. All right, I don't know if he's got that or not. All right, maybe he's online, maybe he's not. Anywho, it has been a very interesting morning for us. I'm hoping that he gets reconnected so we can hear the rest of what he's got to say. It's a lovely meetup so far. As I was saying before, he lost quite a bit of weight for like spiritual purposes. He was doing fasting, OMAD, he says, 1 meal a day. And some people talked him out of it. And then by the time he went to college, he started up overeating again. And then when he got out of college, he went into work at McDonald's. And the stress of his McDonald's career and everybody fussing at him. And he went and gained up a bunch more weight. Then Joshua said one of his buddies and him went out for Bible study, and they had a tendency to overeat. It wasn't really competitive, but it did end up helping him pack on the pounds. Now, when he gets back, I'd like to hear the rest of that and see if we can get him to talk about whether or not he had health issues that precipitated from that. Okay, that's not red, so it may be that he's not there. All right. Okay, he dropped again. Let's see how it goes. How is Yamaro going otherwise? Okay, I got to put that up because that's funny. Well, your tomorrow is doing just fine. Yeah. Your tomorrow is doing just fine. My today is a little messed up. I don't know what to tell you, brother. Solar flare, polar vortex, March of the Penguins. Daggum, something's going on. I don't know what it is. Our Father, we ask for help with the stream. Help indeed. Amen. I don't even know what else to do. What horse should we bet on? I'm betting on the one that doesn't trip. Oh, brother. Okay, I'm not sure how else to get a hold of him. Okay, we got him in the background again. Here we go.
Am I good?
Okay, I've got you reconnected, but I'm not sure how things are going to hold. How you doing
Okay.
over there?
Okay. So sorry about that. We tried
No
to
problem.
like technology, man. It is fighting.
Yeah.
But
Okay,
we
you're not quite centered in the shot.
sorry about that. Where do I need to go? Here we go.
Just a
Sorry.
little more.
I moved
There you
my camera around, had the angle right before, but then there we go. Sorry about that.
go.
Uh technology. Trying to think. Oh, I had broke my bed and I had broke my recliner and I'd done all those things. And then my pastor was on a diet and like that, and he was going to try and have me, get
Call
on,
in.
have be on this call for this diet. So before like I, this call was supposed to happen, I knew that my friend Mitchell from work, that this other friend, uh, I had expressed an interest in losing weight, and he said you should try the carnivore diet. And I had heard about the carnivore diet years ago, um, from somebody, online. I think it was Jordan Peterson. Um, I had watched, some of his stuff, and whenever I heard about it, like from Jordan Peterson, Michaela Peterson, you know, and people just kind of in passing, I had kind of thought, oh, that sounds a little crazy. It sounds a little wild. So like, and that's the thing is, I'd even thought, is this even something that would be biblical to do? Didn't they have like vegetables in the beginning and all of that kind of thing? It's like, how can, like people just be eliminating the vegetables and all of those things. So I was trying to work those things through. And of course, now I've kind of reconciled those various things with, of course, we've been eating meat for thousands of years. Even if you take a very strict young Earth creation view, which I do, you would look and be able to see that we've been eating meat for thousands of years. After Noah and his family got off the ark, like there was this awesome covenant with God, where God told them that they could eat meat, and and we can't just pass over that and be like, oh, the Bible's vegan. It's like, nope, the Bible is not vegan. There's a lot of animal death inside the Old Testament where God sanctioned it, like, and told people to eat it. And then in the New Testament, like, we're permitted to eat any food that God has blessed, like, which is,
Mhm.
and of course the kingdom of God's not meat and drink. The Bible is not trying to teach a diet. So, some of these church groups that teach you have to eat a certain way. Jesus said it wasn't what goes into a man that justifies a man, but what comes out of a man. So, a person's confession of faith and what they believe and trusting in Christ is a lot more important than in terms of eternity than their diet. But so before this happens, like this phone call, I knew that I wanted to go ahead and get started with carnivore because it seemed more reasonable to me than doing this expensive diet that my pastor was on. It was like $400 a month. You had to buy all this food. I didn't know exactly how much that it was before the phone call, but I knew that I didn't want this health coach lady, breathing down my neck. And like, if she sees this, God bless her, like, I am not trying to speak ill. It's just one of those things. It was not what I wanted for my life. I was somebody I like to be in control, and forgive me. Black coffee. Oh, I still include that.
Hmm. A
But
lot of us do.
oh yes, yes. Now I'm grateful for it. It's my nice little treat. But I my goodness. Sorry, it's kind of cool inside of our area, and I think it's getting to me. But just a lot less than it would if I wasn't carnivore, though. That's the thing is like you don't hardly ever get sick. But
Mhm.
I am very, very grateful that I did decide to do this. So I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't done any research. I just had my friend Mitchell
tell me I should do carnivore, and I knew I didn't want to do this $400 a month plan. I didn't want to have this health coach lady. I didn't want to do all that. And so the day before that I'm supposed to have this big conversation, it was March, well, like the first full day that I was carnivore is March 16th of 2023. But like the day before I started, it was a Wednesday. I bought all this meat, and because I know that that Thursday we had that conversation, and I I decided, I'm gonna just go ahead. I don't even have a clue what I'm doing. I'm gonna buy meat, and so I just bought all this meat. I didn't know what I was doing. I hadn't done any research. I had no idea what to do, but I I just started, and so we have that conversation. Of course, I'm like, thank you for the information. Turn but it's like I don't think I can afford that right now. Glad it's working for you. I don't think it's going to work for me because I just can't afford that at this time. Like I was respectful, cordial, all those things. But I told them I had just started the carnivore diet. I want to at least do this for a month. I want to see how it goes. I was planning on just trying this for a month, seeing what happened. So I started for a month is what I thought I was going to do. And then that first month, I lost 30 pounds in the first month. And like in the thumbnail, I started out at 311 pounds at my heaviest. And I was ready for a change. I wanted to not have to go up another pant size. I was ready for something to happen. It was getting really expensive to keep on going up pant sizes, to keep on getting bigger and bigger. It was getting hard to, be able to buckle my seatbelt in the car. And, you get inside somebody's car and you didn't know if you'd be able to comfortably fit inside the seatbelt. You have the seatbelt automatically lock on you because it's reached its full capacity. That's embarrassing. You just like you go, and it was getting difficult to fit in a theater seat whenever I went to like my little brother's theater productions and things like that. Whenever he was in high school, I was a big dude. I was ready for something to change. I lost 30 pounds that first month, and I kept going, even though I thought, like I'll try this for a month, and then maybe I'll try, something like keto, be a little bit more normal, whatever. Some new people who've done keto before, and I've got a friend that's been doing keto for years, and I think that's a lot better than the standard American diet. And he looks great. Like that's amazing that he's been able to do that. But I go and eventually hop on YouTube and try and do some research after I've started, and you start to run into people like Dr. Barry, and you run into people like Anthony Chafee eventually. Because at first, whenever I saw his stuff pop up with the plants are trying to kill you, I was like, that seems really crazy, because I just saw the title, and I was like, I'm not sure I'm on that energy, like I was afraid to even click on that, because I was like, hey, this has got to be one of the extreme things. But I mean, I'll watch it, and then it makes so much sense. All this about the plant toxins and how that the plants are trying to defend themselves because they want to continue to propagate themselves and everything. I was just kind of so surprised by all this that I was finding. Eventually, I get pretty deep into the carnivore space, just like as far as listening to carnivore stuff like all the time and continuing to lose weight. Like and I'd have some cheat days and birthdays and holidays and things like that, but I'd hop back on plan and start fresh. And there were consequences whenever you cheat. There's always consequences if you cheat. So like if somebody's out there and they're just getting started, don't cheat. Like if you're just getting started, if you've been doing this a long time and you've got the willpower to get back on plan the next day, and you know that you can do it, and you think you can handle a little bit of something, you're in charge of you. But don't quit carnivore and feel like a failure if you have an off-plan meal or something. Get back up and start again. Like that's the thing that's been so helpful for me is knowing it's like if I have a piece of cake on my birthday, I can go back, to eating normal, and the majority of what I'm going to eat that day is going to be meat. I'm not going to go and do a bunch of crazy stuff the whole day, and then like just like get even more food. And I mean, I do have to be real. Like I had probably way too much around Thanksgiving, around Christmas, and at Christmas I wound up gaining back some weight. But then on January of this year, I decided, and I mean, the Christmas season, I limited myself to the day before Christmas Eve through Christmas Day, like of eating a little bit of, these of junk, and I did that for those days, but I put on like a bunch of water weight, like, and of course you get back in ketosis and you lose it. And it's crazy how effective it is to get back in and to lose it. But there's consequences. You could put on a lot of water weight really, really fast. And I'm not sure exactly how much it was, but it was at least like 12 pounds of water weight within just like a few days. So if you're out there and you're like, what's the harm? Like if I take a few days, it's like, don't take a few days. If you're going to cheat, plan one cheat meal if you're going to do it, and know what day it's going to be on and what you're going to do, if you're going to do it at all. Because optimal health is what you should be aiming for. And I am grateful that, this long in the ball game, that I've learned tools to be able to do better. Now, January of this year, I decided to go on the lion diet for January and for World Carnivore Month. You got Dr. Sean Baker, he's got the World Carnivore Month, all of the stuff, and I love watching his stuff. He's amazing. His commentary on things is just him sitting there eating steak. I mean, like this guy, he knows exactly what to do. Like, and thousands of views. Just it's like everybody just wants to watch this man just eat steak in the face of vegans. It's like, bravo, like that's what we need to be doing. I no offense to the vegans, I guess, like, but I am, oh my goodness, just grateful that I did decide to do Lion for January. Now, whenever I say do Lion for January, I do need to make a couple of like little things about, like, it was day 15, I reintroduced flavored element back in, like, because I wanted to have some elements. I wanted something that tasted different. With Lion, it's a lot more strict than regular carnivore. I'd been doing like all animal products, and I had cut out dairy for the most part, except for, on Thanksgiving and Christmas stuff. I had cut out dairy for the most part there for a good long while. I've reintroduced dairy here recently whenever I came off of Lion, kind of experimenting with it and seeing what it does. I've struggled with problems with my skin, and those haven't completely healed up or recovered. But I did see some improvement with my skin on Lion during that month. And that was something that was good. I may try doing Lion again. But it was just something where after I had put all that sugar and stuff in my body at Christmas, I was like, we'll use this like a cleanse. But also I had put all that stuff in my body. So my body was wanting more of it, craving that stuff. And I was having all sorts of cravings while on Lion that I wouldn't normally have on regular carnivore. So that really messed me up. I was worried, like that I was going to, make some sort of crazy mistakes. And I've got to be real, like, after because I had craved pizza. Like I don't normally crave pizza on regular carnivore. Regular carnivore, you very rarely have any cravings. You feel pretty good. Like, I mean, like all the time. Like you feel like, like literally like a superhero. Like I've after a few months in on carnivore, I had lost 60 pounds already, and I decided to get a gym membership. Like after I had already lost 60 pounds. If I hadn't already lost 60 pounds, I would have not got a gym membership. I wouldn't have thought
Mm-hmm.
about it. Like, uh, like, but I mean, I started walking on the treadmill, and now today I ran slash walk slash jog like 2 miles outside. Um, like, and outside is a lot harder than the treadmill, like from my experience anyway, but it's absolutely worth it. There's a guy named Carnivore Kip that I watch on YouTube, and he is wanting to run a 5K. This guy started out at 500 pounds, and he lost like uh, I think like close to like over 100 pounds, and then he gained some back whenever he went off plan, and he's had some struggles and stuff, and I relate to that. I understand, but he uh like has re-lost some weight. He's doing like he's been doing pretty good, and he's wanting to run a 5K. And I'm like, if this guy who has went from 500 pounds to losing all this weight, if he is going to run a 5K, I want to run a 5K. So that's one of my goals for this year, is to run a 5K. The guy who was 311 pounds like back in March a year ago ran slash walk slash jog 2 miles today outside. It's a 5K is 3.1 miles. I know that I can do that this year. I know that I can do it this year. Like, and I might not be the fastest, I might not win it, but I'm going to try. Like that's the thing, is like I want to be able to go out there, have some sort of carnivore gear on, and let people see that I don't have cardiac arrest, like like, or anything, like with and that I've been able to reach a healthy BMI. Not that BMI matters at all, like in terms of what the most important measurements and things are for health, but I've reached what they would consider a healthy BMI, breaking all of the rules, eating piles of meat and eggs, and like I've included dairy at different times, seasons at different times, whatever, and drinking black coffee. That's been what I've been doing, and drinking water, and using elemental electrolyte drink mix. I've recently switched over to keto chow because it's cheaper. Like, and saving money is important, especially whenever our hours tend to get cut during the winter months. So it's like you got to do what you can do. So keto chow is good for those electrolyte mixes, especially if you do any intermittent fasting and things like that. Making sure you got enough electrolytes, that's a good thing. Because you don't want to have any cramps or anything, especially if you're exercising, you're getting out there, you're being active. And I am just absolutely thrilled at the level of progress that I've been able to see with this. And I mean, who would have thought that you could have a way of eating where bacon wrapped chicken? I just got done eating bacon wrapped chicken before this, okay? Like bacon wrapped chicken thighs, like that's like, and I mean, I had made them, yesterday because I wanted to have something quick. I like to prep up a bunch of bacon wrapped chicken thighs at once so I can have enough for like 3 meals. And I ate like I think 4 bacon wrapped chicken thighs before coming on here, and they're big ones, not like, and that's weight loss food. That's not just weight loss food. That's health food. Like that's
Nuts, right?
people are going to feel better because they're getting rid of all of these plant toxins and the highly processed foods and all of these things. Ironically, one thing that kind of opened up my eyes and my perspective on a lot of this was a video my pastor wound up sending me, because he had done keto before and he heard I was doing all of this, and so he sent me this video. Like there's this documentary called Fat Fiction, and
Mhm.
it is kind of more keto leaning. And I mean, they've got some vegetables and stuff featured on their program. And I'm not recommending a bunch of vegetables. I mean, I like it's probably if you can tolerate something and that works for you, and you're able to do keto, that's great. But what I've been able to see with all of this, I'm like, I want what's optimal. Most of the time, I'm carnivore. Like I did do recently on my YouTube channel, I did a keto pizza because, like I said before, I had craved that pizza so bad, but I wasn't wanting to go out like and do something super outrageous. So I was like, man, we'll do like a keto pizza. We'll see how it goes. And I ate that. It was amazing, tasted great. And but the thing is in hindsight, I feel like that kind of led me in kind of a negative direction there for a few days where I had ate the keto pizza, and then I had ate like keto waffles, and then like like the next day, as well as the leftover keto pizza, and like I mean, then I had like went with my family for my mom's birthday to Golden Corral, and I would typically, if I'm going to cheat, I plan it because I want to be in control. I want to make sure that
Mhm.
I'm in control of what I put in my body. I don't want to lose control. Like, and that, like, I gotta say, like, I had an episode like almost a week ago where I know that I lost control of the ship, like a little bit, and it made me realize how real it is. Again, that if you give in to food addiction and you give in to sugar addiction, even after being almost a year in, like you can be swayed away because the stuff is so addictive. It's absolutely
Mhm.
crazy. Um, and like, I mean, I ate mostly meat while I was there at Golden Corral. They got steak. They got, and I mean, I was eating everybody's fat off of their plates that they were going to just throw away. And I'm like, give that to me. That's the good stuff. Give me the fat. Give me that. Like hand it over here. And like I'm sitting over here. I'm eating everybody's fat. I'm eating the steaks. I'm eating chicken and eggs and all of these things. They've got all sorts of stuff over there, and they got fish and I was being a little bit less cautious than I normally would be. Kind of as far as seasonings and things like that, because a lot of the time if I'm cooking at home, I just use Redmond's real salt at this point and cook in animal fats. That I was not being as cautious as I would normally be. um, and I ate mostly meat. I did pretty good. I probably already eat more than I definitely eat more than what I normally would for a day that day, and I should have stopped. uh, but then I was like, would you guys judge me if I got dessert? And it's like, well, we won't tell on you, and but you'll tell on yourself. And and that's the thing. I wound up giving myself permission to have whatever I could fit inside this little bowl, and I got a little bit of stuff, and it was very like I limited it down, and but like as far as there. But then I was like, well, now I'm out of ketosis, and then I started. Then I wound up doing eating some birthday cake whenever I got home, and doing some things that I'm not proud of. But I like as far as eating things that I shouldn't have eaten. But I went back on plan the next day. So that's one reason why I'm telling people, like, if you have an episode like that, if you do something like that, and you know that that's not what's optimal for your health, get back on plan the next day. Do what you know is best for you the next day. Just get back up. Um, and start over. Uh, because
Yeah.
even as somebody who's done this for like almost a year, like and it'd be a year on March 16th of being up in this journey, and with some ups, with some downs, with all of those things, with some mistakes along the way, and things that even you look at and it's like we're still learning. I'm still learning, even almost a year in, and learning what I can get by with, learning what I can't, and learning what I can do, and learning what I can't, and learning some lessons over and over again, where it's like you tried this before, and then you try it again, and it still doesn't work. It's like, and then you're like, maybe we need to remember that, and I am grateful though that the majority of the time I'm carnivore. And usually tell people what you do the majority of the time is what matters most. What you do, like the majority of what you eat and what you put in your body is what matters most. And you gotta think about like what's natural, what's supposed to be there. And we've been eating meat for thousands of years. It's like in a lot of these plants are full of oxalates, they're full of lectins, they're full of things that are wanting to cause inflammation in your body. And if we're eating meat, and especially ruminant meat, like it's something that seems and of course, I'll do chicken, I'll do bacon, I'll do all these different things, seafood, all of that, like all these animal products. And I like being able to include those things. Now, I got to say, I do think that I probably felt best and saw probably some of the fastest results with my skin whenever I was doing lion. But I had so many cravings that it drove me crazy, like to where I kind of fell into all of that. So if you are able to maintain lion, and also it was more expensive than regular carnivore. I love regular carnivore, and it's not very expensive really if you think about all of the money I was spending on Kodos, all the money I was spending on snacks, all the money that I was spending on Dr. Peppers and Mountain Dews, like in candy, all of the things that I was doing. It's really not that expensive, because one trip to Kodos was like $70, but I mean, like that's, you pay, because I mean, you're paying a tip to two different people, and you got like a $50 meal, like, and you're trying to you're trying to be nice, like to everybody, and make sure that they don't just think of you as that guy who ate too much, but like that they like you whenever you come back, so they keep on serving you well. But so I mean, I've had a journey, where I've had those ups, I've had those downs, but now, like, I mean, like I said, I'm able to go and run, and I whenever I'm on the treadmill, I can run a mile on the treadmill. Like I think my best time is like 7 minutes and something another seconds. That is, I'd really like to get like a 6 minute mile soon. I really want to do that. I haven't got there yet, but in high school, my fastest mile was like 12 minutes. Like I couldn't do that whenever I was in high school, whenever I was skinny, like in high school. Like, but after all of these years and all this damage I've done to myself with carnivore or with the standard American diet, like, but with switching to carnivore, now I can get on that treadmill and I can run like, a mile in like 7 minutes and seven another seconds. And I can do that. And I used to not be able to do any push-ups, like at all. I wouldn't have tried. And I don't have great form now. I'm not great at it, but I mean, I can do like right around 20 push-ups, like, with kind of bad form, because I mean, I was going from doing zero, like to doing, close to like 20. And I mean, it's something where you're like, this is a major improvement. And like I do some lifting at the gym too, and like I've been watching Sean Baker and his stuff, and it's like, man, I'd like to get jacked like that. And you see Dr. Chafee, and you're like, man, I know, like I've lost the weight now. Now I gotta eat like a wild man on carnivore, eat all this and do what they're doing, work out the way they're working out, actually put that kind of effort in, like at the gym, because I haven't put as much effort in at the gym to get stinking jack. But I mean, I've got muscle now that I wouldn't have had, like I can
Mhm.
lift a lot more than what I would have ever thought I could lift. Like I can do more. I can be able to do so much more and feel capable, like bending down and getting something doesn't have to be like this horrible task. And I don't have to worry that I'm going to rip my pants like every time that I move. like,
Good point.
I, I am just because I mean, I went through so many pairs of pants just because of the way that my body shape was. I was shaped kind of pear shaped, and I've been pear shaped like all my life, and I'm still a little bit that way just because of my natural body shape. But like everybody is well, not everybody, because not everybody speaks to me that way, but my family, they've told me it's like, like that even like, and I'm trying to say this in a professional way, like that even like my rear end is not as big, like because I've always been like shaped rather obtusely, like in a
Yeah.
way, just like something I've dealt with for years is trying to fit in clothes. Like I had to order a suit for a wedding, and like I mean, I had these tiny little shoulders because I had no muscle, but I had this big whole like waist, and and so like this company sent me an email whenever I ordered it, and it's like, why is this measurement so much different than this measurement? And then I just sent them a picture of me, and I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
like I tried to explain, like it was just bad.
Wow.
But like I had to order that suit for that wedding. And I still have that suit. It's and it was something that I mean it fit great. It was my favorite suit. Like, and I still really like the suit, but I can't wear the pants to the suit anymore. Like and the jacket, like and the vest for it. Like you pull it out and it's like way out here. Like I used to be
Wow.
like that big, like it was like way out there. And one of my goals was that I could be able to see my toes. That like
Nice.
whenever I stand up straight and I can see my toes. I had a goal that I could be able to touch my toes. It's like I can touch my toes. I had a goal that I wanted it to be easier for me to worship in church because I mean we're Pentecostal and we're very vibrant. like and I've always been an exuberant person in worship, even whenever I was obese. But it's untelling what my heart rate was then. Like, I mean, I had no way of checking it back then. Now I got an Apple Watch, track your heart rate. And like somebody gave me one because they heard I was, on this health journey, and they were really, really nice to me. And he had an extra one, and he's a preacher buddy of mine. And like I complimented his watch. I was like, "Hey, that's a nice watch. Is that Apple Watch?" He's like, "Do you have one?" And I was like, "No." But like hey, my little brother, he's into watches. Pointed to my little brother's nice watch that he had, like, cause he had got on the subscription service, getting new watches, and this guy just reaches into his bag and hands me an Apple Watch. It's like world class, like absolutely amazing kind of guy right there.
Wow.
Name's Brother Brian Jackson. Like he's a preacher in Louisville, Kentucky. Absolutely stellar human being. Like and they have powerful church over there, and just worshiping God, spirit and truth, just the Holy Ghost moving, in a mighty way. And they get with it. Like, but I mean, that was one of my goals. Was I wanted it to be easier for me to worship because I've always enjoyed being involved in services. But whenever you're 311 pounds, jumping up and down and running around and doing all the things that we do as Pentecostals, because like we do see biblical precedent for David danced before the Lord with all his might. Like in the Psalms, we're commanded to worship God with all of these different kinds of instruments and with dancing and to clap our hands and to shout out loud and to do all of these things like inside of the Psalms. And Jesus quotes the Psalms as authoritative. The apostles quote the Psalms as authoritative, and we can't just pick and choose which Psalms are authoritative. So it's like we're like, well, we want to be obedient to all of that. We're going to we're going to, worship, like all these different ways. And I mean, I really, like feel like it's so much easier now for me to do things
Mhm.
in church. Like whenever I feel like it's an appropriate time, because I mean, we do things like running the aisles. You have that text where the lame man walks and leaps and praises God. Whenever he gets healed at the temple gate, and we'll essentially do that. Walk and leap and run and like get excited, about God. And I mean, I would run uh, run the aisles, even whenever I was big, but it was hard. Like
Mhm.
I know there was a time I like and growing up in Pentecostalism, like I've seen some awesome things. Like, but one thing I saw a few years ago, whenever I'd went to a conference with my pastor, I've never seen this before inside of a service, was probably at least over 100 people run the aisles at the same time. I'd never seen
Mhm.
that before. That was amazing. Like just as far as that united demonstration of excitement and worship about God. And I know that I kind of got focused in on that there for a minute, but that's something that's so much easier because of me being able to run at the gym and do all this stuff. Like now I go in there, and if I feel led to do that, I'm like, boom, I'm like next thing you know, I'm back standing where I was, instead of it taking me a bunch of time to get around the building, or something like that. And I am grateful for that, because I want to be able to glorify God in that way. And I also feel like I feel more competent as a minister, not being in the shape that I was, because and I don't mean to be offensive to people who are in the ministry who are struggling with their weight, because I was there, and I even, like, at times inside of ministry, like I've seen these wonderful heroes of the faith, uh, many of them that struggled with their weight, just wonderful, powerful men. And I'm not going to name drop any of them. I don't feel like that'd be appropriate, but that they struggle with their weight, and you see those people, and then you kind of just are like, well, such and such, they're powerful, and God uses them, and the Lord uses them, but like they're big, so like just kind of associate yourself with that person instead of all these negative examples. um and I had done that in the past, but now I'm like, I wasn't being a good steward of my body, and I know that, and I knew that, but I had let that addiction to sugar and donuts and all of those things matter more than good stewardship of my body. And
Mhm.
regularly putting in my body what was good for me, and what was healthy, what was right. Um, and I feel like I've got control of the steering wheel the majority of the time now. If I do something crazy, that's extremely rare. Um, Whereas before, that was my daily lifestyle. That was every
Mhm.
day out of control. And now with carnivore, almost every single day, I can say, like, I'm in control, like of what I put in my mouth, of what I put in my body, of what I eat, and I can actually choose, instead of just letting this wild emotional eating take over and start binging on everything. Like, not that that's impossible for that to happen, because I had that episode here recently. And if give room for a little bit of compromise, you got to be careful, because like that can grow into something bigger really, really fast. It can snowball out of control. So you gotta be careful. You got to know yourself. Um and you got to know what you can handle. And sometimes, like, I made mistakes and did things I couldn't handle. And like, I think it's important, though. You got to stick with it, get back up, try again. I know I've kind of rambled a little bit there and got off
Oh,
track,
yeah,
but
you're fine.
but I know that I'm grateful for the carnivore diet, man. Like and I know like I've been going there for a little bit, but I'm just so glad because if it weren't for this way of eating, you know, I'd probably be a lot worse off. Like by this point, I could have been like some sort of like 600-pound guy if I hadn't stopped, if I hadn't changed my way of eating. Um, and I'm just glad that my life turned around because somebody told me, you know, to try carnivore. And I just took the risk. And I, without even knowing what I was doing, bought the meat and I started. And then I did some research and I kept going. And I'm just beyond grateful for what I've experienced with this because it is like you know, without sounding sacrilegious or anything, it's like a miracle. You know, you hear about people.
Mhm.
You know, I've watched Dave Back. I think you've had him on your show before too. I've watched Dave Back, and I've got to talk with Dave before too. I love Dave. And Dave, like he's had people on, and they talk about like, you know, reversing, I think like MS and diabetes and having you know, been bound in wheelchairs, and then they're able to walk again and do all of this, and they're getting off of their medication and they're reversing their depression and their anxiety and all of these things. It's like I'm a minister in a Pentecostal church, and we believe in miracles and healing, and we pray for those things, and we see some of that, you know, and God's good, and He's able to choose when to heal and when not to, and all of that. But and we lay hands on people, pray in faith, and we did that on Sunday, and we were believing for miracles. And you know, like, you know, the Holy Ghost was moving, and you know, it felt like we had done kicked the devil across the room. You know, like made, you know, gave him a black eye, and it was good. It was good, but it's crazy to me how many of these diseases that we're over here trying to rebuke, that if we just got people to be good stewards of their bodies, like we're over here like loose this person of cancer, but they're still eating Oreos. Like
Mhm.
loose this person of diabetes, you know, give them healing, you know, give them a breakthrough, but they're still putting so many like carbs and sugars and processed foods inside of their body, and they don't realize what the enemy is in that situation. Might not be the devil, but it might be what's on their fork or on their spoon. uh, like it might be what they're picking up in a wrapper at the fast food restaurant. Like, and you know, for me, somebody who's worked in fast food, is like I know very little of what we sell is something that I really would recommend for human consumption at this point. And I hope I don't get fired. But if I did, draw unemployment, bless God. But like go into full-time ministry. But and I mean, that's the thing is, I am so glad that this has changed my life. It's changed so many other people's lives. I've seen it. And, you know, my sister and my family, well, my sister, she was worried about me a while back, and she was like, you know, show me some studies, show me some research, you know, don't just show me a YouTube video. So I did some looking around, and of course, Dr. Chafee cites his sources, and
Yes, he
so I
does.
was copying and pasting a bunch of Dr. Chafee's sources over to a note. So now, whenever I got somebody who they're worried, it's like, is this going to cause problems with my cholesterol? I send them a study. Whenever they're like, you know, is this going to, you know, like cause cardiac arrest or whatever, it's like I send them a study. It's like, you know, it's like it is this, you know, something that's you know, makes sense for me to do. You know, I'll send them, you know, something about the anthropological data, you know, or whatever. You know, you just go and you're like, there's enough science that supports this. There's enough data that supports this. There's enough studies that support that, you know, things like eating meat and doing a ketogenic way of eating and all of these things, it actually makes sense. It's actually what's
Mhm.
up. It actually is a proper human diet like Dr. Barry talks about, and it's not a garbage thing. You know what I'm saying? It's
Mhm.
not just another fad.
It's not a fad. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
yeah, yeah.
That's
That's the thing. So many people have bought into so many fad diets, and like, I mean, you got all these people, and God bless them if it's working for them. But so many people are doing Ozempic, they're doing, like all of these things. And I've got friends, and if they see this, I'm not trying to be offensive, but I see like I see things like this, and it makes me have caution. Things like, and I don't even know what's in these things. It could be something natural for real. I don't know, but I've seen people talk about skinny drops and all these kind of things. It's like, what if we just change what we ate? What if we just put inside our body what is natural for our body, and then you're not going to have to go and buy something from somebody like every single month so that you can continue to lose weight, or so that you can continue to maintain your weight, or so that you could continue to have optimal health. You don't have to buy a bunch of supplements. You don't have to, like, I mean, I've done some of those beef liver supplements there for a little bit. And then I was like, these seem kind of sketch. I'm not sure that I really want to do this. So like I wound up trying real beef liver. And it's not my favorite, but it's not that bad, like, put, like, just make sure that if the package says keep frozen, you keep it frozen. Otherwise, it's not going to be good. Like, I
yeah.
learned my, like, you got to read, like, whatever it says, keep frozen. But I enjoyed, incorporating that. And especially whenever I was doing lion, it was a different texture than regular beef. So I was like, well, this is still a ruminant animal. It's right there, and I can
Mhm.
include it. And it was good as an additional thing to, my ribeyes. I love ribeye, man. Like, I love ribeye, and I mean, ribeye still excites me. That's the thing, is like, I have been doing carnivore for almost a year, like be a year in March, and I'm telling you, ribeye still is exciting. Ribeye is still good. Like, if I get it cooked just right, and it's kind of rare, medium rare in the middle, whew, it is worth, like, it is worth, heating up that cast iron skillet one more time, and, getting it seared right on both sides, and, like, turn it down, making sure that, every now and then I might add a little bit more beef tallow on there. Uh, like, I always, well, if I can fit it in my jar of fat, I save the fat off of the beef that I cook, and then I also save bacon grease. And, like, of all things, like, I saw camel hump fat being sold on Amazon, and I got very
Hmm.
curious. And it's supposed to be full of, like, all of these, like, vitamins and things, and so I'm like, we will try this. The thing is, though, is it smells just like a camel, man. Like, I can't hardly get past that. So I'm cooked with it so much. It just smells like camel. You open up the jar and it's like, yeah, that's definitely from a camel. This is definitely from a camel. It's like I might use it. I just haven't. I've had so much trouble just getting past that. They're not like complete ruminants, but they're like they got like 3 stomachs instead of 4, I think. So that's something that yeah, like I yeah, camel hump fat. Like, after you've been so deep in this, man, like, you're like, you just try things. And I mean, you know, like, I've done like a lot of the things that you see advertised, as far as like the Redmond's Real Salt, the Element Electrolyte Drink Mix, the Keto Chow. And I mean, those things are good. I think, and I mean, like, I don't think the stream is sponsored, but those things are good. Like, so I like, but I like, if they want to sponsor Matthew, they can. All right. But like, yeah, I'm trying to help you out. Like,
Like and subscribe. Like and
all
subscribe.
y'all subscribe. Like, make sure you subscribe and share all of the things. Ignore the part of the stream whenever my internet connection cut out. But I'm grateful, man. Like, just for everything that's happened. And there's so much that, like, I just can't even begin to just express knowing that I went from being a size 50-inch waist pants. Like that's getting there. That's getting kind of big. Like I mean, like it was bad. Like I was wearing a size
Rather.
50-inch waist pants, and then I went from that to like I mean I've been wearing 36s, but I think I'm going to get ready to need to buy some 34s. Like and like that's the thing is 36s. That's a major change from size 50-inch waist pants to 36s. I hadn't wore that size pants in years, Matthew. Years. Absolutely insane. Like I didn't know if I'd ever be back there,
I
but
understand.
here I am. Yeah, and I did it eating meat and eggs. And
Yeah.
who would have knew? And something that I discovered recently that I didn't know was good, might not be good for to everybody, but and not everybody might want to do this, but like especially if they got like extreme sensitivities, I don't know. But I found out that like because my mama made some pickled eggs, and she'd send them home with us, and they just sat in our fridge inside of a jar for a month, and nobody ate them. And like that month, I was online that they were sitting in there, so I couldn't eat them. But whenever I got offline, eventually after I had reintroduced eggs and bacon, and then I'd had that keto pizza day where I just kind of like went wild and all of that, I wound up trying pickled eggs. And I found out they taste like a pickle and they taste like an egg at the same time. So you're getting the nutrition from your eggs, and they're already boiled, they're already cooked, and they're preserved right there. And I'm like, this is a time saver. Like, so if somebody can get past the fact that their egg tastes like a pickle, it's like, there you go. That's a life hack for somebody like the carnivore, ketovore space right there. Like pickled eggs. If you get past the idea of it tasting like a pickle, and I mean, to me, it's like I don't normally eat pickles. Like I might very occasionally because they're like 0 calories, very few carbs. It's not really going to throw anything off to eat a pickle, unless you got like extreme sensitivities to like anything that they've got inside of them or whatever. You got to be real careful with whatever you do if you got an autoimmune condition or something like that. But I enjoyed those a lot. Like, and I wound up eating most of those once I found out, because I can go through eggs, man. Like whenever I reintroduce eggs, it's like I knew I was going to go hardcore on the eggs. My mom will be like, "You eat enough eggs for a whole family," and it's like, well, you guys are eating all of this other stuff, the biscuits and the gravy and and all of those things, and you like I'm not doing that. I'm like those 6 eggs and that bacon. That's that meal. Like yes.
Well, what's in a biscuit anyhow? You got sugar, maybe in some cases. You got flour. You got lard or Crisco, one or the other, and that's pretty much it. It's just water and flour. If you really kind of consider that.
Oh yeah.
What value does that have?
Nutritional choice for sure, and that's not to shame anybody who's still inside that pattern of eating, but it's something that oh my goodness, like I was stuck in that. I was stuck in that like a year ago, and I thought it was normal, like to a degree. Everybody eats that way. Everybody's a food. Well, not everybody, but a lot of people are food addicts. A lot of people are sugar addicts, and they eat and eat and eat, and they eat all day. And it's like, and they're down in a cookie, and then they're eating a burger, and then they're eating, a chicken nugget, and then they're eating some French fries. And, there's some regular customers that I have that they're in there every day. And then you see some people, you go to Walmart, you go to whatever store, and, I don't know how it is over in, you're in Indonesia, right? Like, like I mean, I don't know how it is in where you're at in Indonesia, but here, like in America, there is so many people who are struggling with being overweight, extremely overweight. And they're continuing to put all of this processed stuff in their bodies. And it's sad, because I know stuff they don't know. And that if I even told them, they think I was the crazy one. And it's hard still, even, after being a part of this community and doing all of this, and, I mean, like making YouTube videos and talking to people and trying to help people to see this. Still is hard. People have that kind of difficulty where they're not.
Looks like we're having a connection
This is
issue
actually
again.
something that works. Looks like probably not. I don't know.
Okay, Joshua, we're
like,
having another connection problem. Okay, your audio went out again. Okay, so this time he elected to jump off and then jump back in, I guess, quicker than last time. So I think that's probably how he's going to try and get it solved. We're going to wrap up here in just a bit because we've already been going for an hour and a half. I think that we're going to have to call it because I have some other things going on in the background I'm going to have to get after too. So we'll let him get reconnected and we'll try to wrap up. Okay, half a moment. All right, we got him in the backstage again. No,
sorry,
you're doing all right.
Maybe
he's in the 20.
It'll do it. Like, that's the thing, is living out in the country, like, the Wi-Fi is spotty. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Now. So I was just telling the crew that we're going to have to wrap it up in a little bit because I have some other things going on in the background, and we want to be cognizant of each other's time.
Good long while. I wasn't sure what kind of time we had. I do apologize if I went over.
No, that's fine. I try to get us in for at least a 2-hour stretch when we do lives, just to be sure that everything get put out there if we can. But honestly, I don't have the 2 hours today. So
hey, I totally understand, brother. Hey, thank you for having me on, man. This has been a real treat, and I know we had some stuff with the internet signals. I wanted to ask you, like, not that I'm like super familiar with Indonesia, but I had some friends like from back whenever I was going to Kodos a lot, like that were actually Indonesian instead of like Japanese, but because like my friend, he was kind of presumptuous and he asked them if they could teach us any Japanese, and then they turned out to be Indonesian, and like we had learned a little bit of like a certain form of Indonesian language, like, but like, and I know that there's different dialects and things over there, like, but what part are you in? Like, because I know there's like multiple islands, isn't there? Like within that,
there are many islands.
So
yeah, so I'm on Java Island. I live in Surabaya. It's the second biggest city of Indonesia, and it's rather populous. Yeah, the density of the city is extreme. You can drive around town all day and never see the same thing twice. It's amazing.
Oh, that is wild. But I know like I have went on for a while. Thank you again for this opportunity to be able to share my story, and hopefully this blesses somebody, man. Like that's the thing, is I really want to make sure that people, they see that their life can really change, and that things can get better. And I greatly appreciate this. Thank you.
You are very welcome, and I'm so happy to have had you on today. And thank you for reaching out to me. That was on the Idol Killer stream, right? We were talking back and forth on that particular stream. And I missed that.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. The interaction that we had on there, like getting feedback and stuff on theology and everything. That was really cool because you don't get that kind of opportunity all the time to just have that close interaction with somebody like online. Who has a big audience about theology, and kind of pick their brain a little bit.
That is true. And I don't killer Warren, he is just really full of theological matters. It's just amazing to talk with him. We're buddies in the background. And I found out he was carnivore, and I said, "Hey, how about you jump on my stream and we'll chat it up about carnivore and theology?" He was like, "Awesome, brother, set it up." So we did that. And I'd like to have you back on because I know that you had several questions for Warren, and I'm going to reach out to him and see if we can maybe set up a three-way.
Oh yeah, that'd be a lot of fun, man. Like, because that's the thing is, I'm sure that like we'll have like some points of disagreement on theology, but at the same time, I know that he seems very cordial, and I try my best. Like, because I mean, I've had people that I've talked to for years, and I'm friends with, completely different perspectives, completely different views, and I love having good dialogue, man, because that's how that we grow in our understanding of one another, and then also figure out like maybe points where I could be wrong, about something, and I want to continue to grow, and it's a daily decision to learn and to grow and to be willing to investigate. Because that's the thing is, a year ago I didn't know about the carnivore stuff, and it radically changed my life. And of course, I've seen God move powerfully inside of the oneness Pentecostal space, and I'm not trying to run away from what I've found that is changing people's lives dramatically there. And like what I see that for me seems to be aligning up with the word of God, with scripture. But I am open to having good conversation with anyone about all of these different topics, because for me, like, especially people who are into history and stuff, like, and I know that he's probably got more like, if I'm being honest, more education about like those early church history years. And I mean, I've got some books on my shelf that I need to pick up and read about that kind of thing. But I am very interested in having that kind of a dialogue. So if you're able to set that up, man, I would be absolutely thrilled. Just let me know what his availability is, and maybe we could try and work something out, because that'd be a real treat.
Sure. I mean, no promises, brother, but because he is rather busy. But I want to see what I can do on that end, because I think it would just be awesome to have a three-way on that.
Oh yeah.
Robin, I also like beef liver. Now I've been doing a lot of looking into beef liver though, and you got to be careful about how much you're eating, because apparently it has quite a lot of copper in it, and it can also do some injury to you if you have too much at one particular time. But I'm sure that most of our guys know that when it stops tasting good, put the fork down, right?
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is, if you don't like it, like, you don't have to eat it. Like, there's so many people, and the main reason why I was doing it was because I wanted, whenever I was online, was to have a variety of textures. Like, because I wanted another sensory experience. And I mean, I had included it because I had heard so many people talking about all the vitamins inside liver, which is great. And, I was trying to heal skin issues and things. So I was focused on a particular thing. But the majority of people do not have to have beef liver.
Mike. Copper is a very conductor, so it should help with your conduct. Am I right? Oh, dude, that's funny.
That's amazing.
See, and that's what I'm saying, right? Anything that you find you've got a craving for, especially in the carnivore bin, there's probably a genuine reason for it. And you go ahead and get you some, at least until that craving is bent or stopped, and you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, there've been times whenever I've incorporated beef liver, and I'd eat like 2 of them, And I mean, nobody does that. And then there'd be like normally, if I was going to incorporate, it'd be like 1. And there was one time I'd done like some people do and mix it in with ground beef, so that I didn't have to think about it. You know, I mean, you don't have to have it. It's nice to have if you are like really, really trying to focus on, you know, like maybe improving your skin or getting a little bit of extra vitamins in. Like, go for it. But you can get everything that you need just from eating like fatty red meat. Like, if that's all you do, you can have enough vitamins and fat and protein that you can live and do great. Like I did Lion, like with the exception of the elemental electrolyte drink mix, and I did introduce coffee back on day 26. I forgot to mention that I did do that because I was really wanting a cup of coffee and I was needing to stay up and study, and so I got me a cup of coffee. I did I did it, and it was a lot better than you know, some other alternatives, but I did that.
Yeah, I've noticed there's some audio issues yet. One more time, yeah, but that'll be all right. We're going to wrap it up here, and thank you so much, Joshua, for coming on. It's been fabulous, and I thank you guys for tuning in. Anyone who hasn't, I know that we can say like and subscribe, and it should pop that little thing and make the colors and bells and whistles and stuff. I don't know. I'm going to try it out and see how it goes. But Joshua, hang around for a bit. We'll talk in the background, yeah?
Oh,
so don't leave just yet, yeah? I said don't leave just yet. We'll talk backstage, yeah?
Oh, yes, yeah. Sir.
Okay. So final thoughts?
Oh, well, if anybody's thinking about trying carnivore, do it. Like, take the leap, man. Just do it. Go buy the meats, go buy the eggs, do it. Like, if you want to do some research first, look up Dr. Berry, look up Dr. Chafee, look up Dr. Sean Baker, and read the references and do the thing. Like, don't dare wait like another minute. Like, go ahead and try. Like, go ahead and try it. Like, if you need to lose weight, try it. If you need to heal an autoimmune condition, try it. Stop waiting. Like, go ahead.
Thank you, Joshua. Fantastic. Now, if anybody hasn't, go ahead and like and subscribe, and then head on over after the stream to Joshua's channel and get connected over there. He also has videos up. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
All right. See you, everybody. Be bold.